Okay, a very good evening to my lovely students. I welcome you all to Aakash BYJU'S NEET channel, the channel specifically for your NEET preparation, for the best preparation. I am Pankhuri, your botany teacher, and we are going to continue our NEET Bootcamp series. We have picked the foundation of botany, the very basic chapter of botany, which is Morphology of Angiosperms. In the last two classes, we have studied a detailed version of morphology of both the root and the stem. So we have started with the vegetative structures of the plant. All of you, please settle down in the class, relax, but keep your pens and paper ready. Good evening, Abhinandan, Charan, Kurat. Okay, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, please excuse me. Soumya, Swati, Arbaz Khan. A very good evening, children. Arbaz, beta spam mat karo. A very good evening. It's a lovely evening to learn something new. Yash, Kumud, Dhruv, Jaymari, good evening, bacha. Veer Pathak, a very good evening and hello to you. Surat, Sampurna, you guys have beautiful names. Swati, Ashish, good evening. Relax and keep your pens and paper ready because class is full of, when we come for the class, when the teachers come, yeah, the one thing that is always there in every teacher's mind is to discuss the previous year and the probable future questions that can be asked in the NEET. So keep noting down the important points. Poonam, Shivam, Thunder Shukla, very good, very interesting name. Okay, Sakshi, your name is Sakshi. Shivam, you are our essay node. Okay, very good. I like that. Entire BYJU'S is your essay node in NEET preparation. At BYJU'S, one thing you're going to find out is we value everything that is important for your selection. Or kuch nahi. Yeah? Nothing on the left, nothing on the right. We value your time and the perfect content. The team at BYJU'S works hard. All the teachers work really hard to bring the best for you here every day. Okay, people, let's start the class. Samuel, well, you're not new here. You're old already. एक बार अगर BYJU'S में आ गए, एक बार if you come to our channel, you're old. And the journey to your dream medical college has begun already. Very good evening, people. Settle down. Yes, Poonam, I want to start too. Let's start, right? And I will be looking at your comments in between the session. Yeah, we should restrict to subject-related comments. Pay absolute attention to the class. Whatever your teachers are saying here, and I say this for all the subjects, physics, chemistry, zoology, botany, उसी में से ही जो उनके मुंह से निकला उसी में से ही आपका फ्यूचर बन सकता है. 4 marks can bring you to the door of the college, to the gate of the college, or otherwise. Yeah, we don't have the option of anything else but to get into the dream medical college. So पिछली class में we were discussing angiosperms in the last 2 classes, and we have ascertained that these are the most evolved, these are the most advanced plants, and that is why we study in detail about the physiology, about the morphology, anatomy of these flowering plants. Yeah. Now, the plant, if you look at the entire plant, it is categorically divided into vegetative parts which form the basic body and perform the major physiological functions of the plant. Yeah? So we discussed about root, we discussed about the stem, and today's class, as you've already seen, is about the leaf structure and modifications. Now, when we started from root, it was a different way to understand the structure of root. When we did stem, it was entirely different from the root. Leaf, the small green appendage of the stem, is entirely different. It's pretty exciting. Now, let's brush up our absolute basics. Yeah, what is the difference between stem and shoot, my children? Shoot is the stem, or like I say, the mother axis supporting the lateral appendages, and one of them is the leaf. तो वो स्टेम जिस पर लीफ है, फ्लावर्स है, फ्रूट्स है, दैट इज द शूट सिस्टम. Okay, now leaf has a very, very important identity in the life of a plant. In fact, कोई और ये फंक्शन कर नहीं सकता है. The most important primary function of the leaf is to perform photosynthesis or to make food for the plant. Yeah. Now, when I say leaf, before we go into the textbook, okay, and discuss further, we should also, all of you can close your eyes and think about a leaf. What is the first thing? What are the few keywords which come to our mind necessarily? That necessary, because you know the most of the knowledge that you gain, whether it is physics, whether it is mathematics, definitely biology, because I have experienced it on my own, is through observation. और बॉटनी तो डेफिनेटली आप ऑब्जर्वेशन से पढ़ सकते हो, आराम से पढ़ सकते हो, right? So when you think about a leaf, some of the words that come to our mind is, well, the first very basic thing is green. Yeah. Then of course it is present on the stem, and in the last class we have studied that it is present on specific points called nodes on the stem. Yeah. Then it is a very thin and flattened structure. It is a very thin and flattened structure. ये बातें तो हमें पक्का से पता है. Now we are going to ascertain कि आता कहाँ से है, what is the origin. जैसे root में very first thing which we noted down, it arises from the radicle of the embryo. Then shoot arises from the plumule of the embryo. Similarly, leaf, what are we studying since then? It is a lateral appendage. Lateral मतलब side. Apical is at the top. Lateral is side. So it is a lateral appendage of the stem. And I discussed about the axillary bud also. Today, there's a lot of story around axillary bud. So better pay attention. Okay? Ab, when shoot arises from the plumule, okay? Plumule, which is the upper part of the embryonal axis. Upper part of the embryonal axis, epicotyle, forms plumule. Plumule, with the help of SAM, shoot apical meristem, forms the stem. Okay? And we discussed about the two buds, the apical bud of the stem and the axillary bud of the stem, which causes the overall growth of the stem. Usi shoot apical meristem se hi we get leaf. So origin of leaf, write it down somewhere, is shoot apical meristem. Yeah, so plant is growing in both the directions. Remember that. यहाँ पर root apical meristem है. This will again come in the next chapter, which is anatomy of flowering plants. So root apical meristem is causing the growth in the ground. The root is growing in the ground, in depth. And shoot is growing with the help of SAM, shoot apical meristem. With me on this. Now, when I say SAM is causing the growth of the shoot, zahir si baat hai, all the units of the shoot system. So one of them is leaves. It is the shoot apical meristem which causes the growth of leaves. A very, very important point, often ignored, but asked in the form of true and false statement. One of the patterns of NEET paper is true and false statement. क्या सच है, क्या झूठ है. आपको आपके previous year NEET papers में ऐसे बहुत questions मिलेंगे. Which of the following is a true statement? Identify the false statement, and there will be multiple false statements. In such questions, concept clarity is very, very imperative. Either your concept is clear or it's not. And if it's not clear, negative marking. Yeah. So we want to kill this evil, this enemy called negative marking. Okay. Now, people, the arrangement or how leaves grow, I shouldn't say arrangement, but how leaves appear on the stem is in an acropetal manner. अब ये acropetal manner holds this is also a basic of botany. ये आपका inflorescence में भी आएगा. So it's better that you understand it today. Acropetal is, again, go out, observe after the class if you haven't till now. The old leaves, this is quite evident if you look at any plant, yeah? Even in your own house, the old leaves will be at the base and the young leaves will be at the top, at the apex. Are you good? This pattern of growth, not only for leaves, everywhere, is acropetal. Old parts at the base, young at the apex. Done? Please write it down. Now, we were discussing about the key features. So, what did I tell you? Flattened structure born on the node. We can be more precise. It's written already, born on the node. A very special entity. For me, this is the most special entity in the shoot system. The angle which is formed between the leaf and the node on the stem. Have a careful look. This angle is called as the axil. So axil is an angle formed together by the stem and the leaf. Is angle ke andar there is a treasure, there is a collection of cells, and we call collection of cell as, answers de do, bud. We call it bud. So this is called as axillary bud. An axillary bud is that collection of cells which can give rise to numerous structures. It can give rise to young leaves, new leaves, branches of the stem and whatnot. Okay? So now this axillary bud, the leaf is very smart and knows that this axillary bud is very important for me. If you study the structure of a typical leaf, there is clear-cut division of labor. The leaf is very smart. It's a very small organ, very fragile organ, looks like that, but it is doing big things. It is performing, it is the seat of photosynthesis, it is the kitchen of the plant. Okay? And there are many other functions. What are the other primary functions? When the photosynthesis happens, the gaseous exchange happens. We'll discuss all this when we come to the lamina part of the leaf. Now, I was saying that when you study the parts of a leaf, there is clear-cut division of labor. The first part of the leaf, which is right at the node and not easily differentiated, आप उसको इतना clearly देख नहीं सकते हो, because it is just the starting of the leaf, of the organ, that is your leaf base. Part number 1. Another term for leaf base, the hint is in the word base. आप botany में, in fact पूरी bio में ना, how you can make biology easy for yourself is to take care to learn the prefixes. Yeah? और किस suffix का क्या मतलब होता है? For example, if I use the word hypo, it means base, located at the base. So, leaf base is also called as hypopodium. Now, let's understand. Now, stipules are not part of the leaf. Nope, nope. Even if it's written in a textbook, it is wrong. Parts of a leaf are 3. Leaf base, the stalk of the leaf or the petiole, and the most expanded and enlarged part, the green part, chlorophyll containing part, lamina or leaf blade. I'm going to discuss each one of them. Okay. Now, अब leaf base की अगर बात करें, leaf base took up the function of protecting the mighty axillary bud because it's so important. So, in the leaf base region, appreciate with me, all eyes on the screen, there are 2 very, very small appendages, very small structures. Some people say leaf-like structures because they are green, but they are not taking part in photosynthesis. They are very clear about their function. These stipules are protecting the axillary bud. Such leaves are called as stipulate leaves. Now, you have to, this is a previous year question, stipules or these 2 leaf-like structures protecting the axillary bud located in the leaf base. क्योंकि leaf base में ही axillary bud है. So it makes sense for them to be there. Yeah? They are present only in dicots. Okay. No, I shouldn't have said that. They are present mostly in dicots. Biology में there is no always, there is no only, there is no this has to be. Biology is full of as many exceptions as there are concepts, okay? But mostly stipules took up the work of protecting the axillary bud in dicots. तो बाकी plants में क्या होता है? Aims, previous year question, keep writing. In monocots, especially in grasses, go for a walk, morning, evening, night. Look at the grasses. That way you will never forget this. That is the beauty of botany. It's right there. To understand human physiology, I love zoology as much, but I'm just saying, to understand human physiology, cardiovascular system, pulmonary system, I mean the lungs, and the skeletal system, you have to dissect a human body. That you're not getting to do legally till you enter the medical college. If and when you enter the medical college, you'll be given a cadaver to dissect on. But plants, botany, जितने लोगों को मुश्किल लगती है, for them, I'm telling you, you can easily observe plants and get it done. Get this part of the paper on your side. Okay? So, in grasses, in monocots, there is something called as sheathing leaf base. Sheath ka matlab, and these words are going to come again and again in the entire biology. Sheath means covering. So this sheathing leaf base tends to cover the stem. That's it. That's all you have to remember. Nothing extra. So sheathing leaf base is a feature of grasses and some other monocots as well. It's seen in wheat also, wherein the leaf base just covers, forms a very thin sheath, as you can see right on your screen. And I'm taking a while so that you register the image and you get the visual memory of it. And it covers the stem. Now, wholly or partially. Okay. Now, next is pulvinate. This is my favorite question. And why is it my favorite question? Why do you think would this be my favorite question? What is pulvinus? It is the swollen leaf base, waiting for you to write because this is such a probable question, very much in your NCERT textbook, जिसका एक भी word आप miss नहीं कर सकते, हो ना हो, NCERT, full stops, the, am, is, everything. You have to chew that book conceptually. Okay? So, pulvinus is the swollen leaf base found in leguminous plants, pulses, pea, bean, gram. Okay? So, leguminous plants, you will have the swollen leaf base. Now comes the petiole. Well, what does petiole do? What does stalk do? Look at the lamina. Such a thin, fragile structure. Now, I want to keep the lamina expanded. Why do I need to keep it expanded? Have you thought about it? Well, for the right exposure to the sunlight. Because photosynthesis is hugely dependent on sunlight. So, to give the proper position to the lamina, there is a stalk which keeps it strong and flexible. Strength is never only rigidity in life. Strength can be of various ways. It can be elasticity as well, flexibility as well, and rigidity as well. Okay? So, this structure, the stalk of the leaf is not only exposing the lamina. Okay, let's make my arm for a while. Okay, I'm the stem. Okay, consider me as the stem people. Alright? And my hand here is the lamina. Now this guy is responsible for photosynthesis. He's doing the main work, the leaf blade. Okay? And this arm of mine, yeah, the forearm is the petiole. So, you know, I can put my hand, my lamina, like this. So it can move, it can flutter in the wind. Why do I need the lamina to flutter in the wind? If the temperature becomes too high, the leaf can cool down the temperature, because temperature, very high temperature, will kill the photosynthetic enzymes. You see how plants are so smart? All the technology, all the logics are already applied by nature. We are here just decoding them. Okay, so this is the function of petiole. A leaf with a petiole is called petiolated leaf. A leaf without a petiole cannot move. So it is called as a sessile leaf. Sessile leaf. Are we together on this? Yeah? Now, after petiole comes the chlorophyll containing seat of photosynthesis, most expanded portion called the leaf blade. Till now, everything was happening for this guy, the leaf blade. Because leaf blade or lamina is going to serve food to everybody. Consider the plant as a huge family. Who will give energy to the roots? Who will give energy to the stems? Who will help the plant to reproduce, get the beautiful flowers on? Lamina is making the food. Also, one thing is photosynthesis, but the other processes happening with the photosynthesis are transpiration. And you will study, if you haven't till now, those of you who have just entered class 11th, maybe not. But if transpiration doesn't happen, although it looks like an evil process, loss of water from the stomata, loss of water from stomata. And where are stomata present? On the leaf, on the lamina very precisely. And lamina is also called as where do I mark it? There. Okay, I'll choose a different color. Lamina is also called as epipodium, because epi, we use the word epi for the uppermost or the outermost in biology. Remember that. So, gaseous exchange for photosynthesis, taking in carbon dioxide, giving in oxygen for us to breathe, so important. Everything is happening from the lamina. And during that, transpiration or loss of water also happens. Transpiration is very, very important for everything. For the conduction of water and minerals in the plant. This you will study further when we teach you transport in plants. Is that clear? Now, before I go further, petiole is called as the mesopodium. Meso is used for something, a layer in the middle. Is that clear? Now, if I talk about the structure of lamina per se, this is a paper thin structure, and lamina has something called as the margins, yeah, the sides, and the leaf has something called as, or the lamina has something called as the apex. Okay, now in order to support the particular shape of the leaf, while it is fluttering in the wind and doing its thing, we have the veins and the veinlets. The veins and veinlets not only represent the skeleton of the lamina, point number 1, but they also represent vascular bundles of the leaf. What do I mean by vascular bundles, people? Okay, I can see some chats here. Manya, tip of the lamina is leaf apex. बहुत ही बढ़िया आंसर है आपका. Mohammed, thank you. Welcome from India as well. Avik, hello. बेटा हेलो के आगे बताओ, सब्जेक्ट रिलेटेड बताओ, क्या कोई डाउट है तो. आशीष, transpiration helps in transporting the minerals, absolutely, through the xylem and phloem. Ashish, thank you bachcha. Vascular bundles mean xylem and phloem. This will be more clear when you study the anatomy in plants. Avik, right? What a beautiful name. Avik bachcha, I'm trying my best to use both English and Hindi, but as far as terms are concerned, वो तो English में ही है. तो उन पर ध्यान देते हैं. For example, veins and veinlets. You know, veins and veinlets are just like our veins and veinlets, which are, can you see in my hand? No, only I can see. So veins and veinlets are spreading, are conducting the water and minerals from the root to the leaf. And the other thing as well, you know, Lamina is manufacturing the organic solutes, organic food, with the process of photosynthesis. Yeah, so consider this as the kitchen of the restaurant, and the delivery of the food is done by the veins and veinlets, because like Ashish said, the xylem and phloem are present in the veins and veinlets. So everything in the structure, koi bhi khali nahi baitha hai, is doing one or the other irreplaceable job. I'm not from England, but I would love to travel. कौन मुझे बुला रहा है? Okay, Avik, settle down, बच्चा. Yes, yeah, what is this name? Yahaya. Okay. Guys, you have difficult names. These are difficult for me to pronounce. Chalo, अब आगे बढ़ते हैं. So, just letting you know, if you don't go out for a walk and observe it yourself, or when you go out, you will see कि ये जो leaf blade है ना, इसकी एक कोई particular shape नहीं है. Avik, this is for you. It can be found in many shapes. It can be in the shape of a bell, a heart, a blade, many shapes. Then when you notice the margins yani ki edges of the leaf, you will not find a particular pattern. Nature is not boring. Nature loves variety. It loves to innovate things, whether we like it or not. So if you notice the leaf margins, some of them have incisions, fine incisions, lot of designs, lot of creativity. Yeah. Now, what is leaf apex? Like, I'm sorry if I'm missing the name. Somebody said the apex of the leaf is the tip of the leaf. It can also be diverging or converging in various shapes. Right? Now, we talk about a very important topic called venation. First of all, congratulations to you guys that this topic of venation is very much reduced in your syllabus. When I studied, when I gave my exam, we had at least 10 to 15 different types of venations that we had to learn along with the examples. अब आप लोगों के लिए बहुत सिंपल कर दिया. There is no, you don't have to learn convergent, divergent, multicostate, unicostate. All you have to remember is कि जब हम dicots की बात करते हैं, dicotyledonous plants की बात करते हैं, the veins and veinlets, which you realize carry so much of importance for the leaf, वरना lamina will just break down. And who will do the transport, right? So veins and veinlets, when they form a fishnet pattern, again in biology, whether it is zoology, whether it is botany, whether it is your when you go to the medical college, first year syllabus will be very much 80% of it is 11th and 12th syllabus. Reticulum word, nervous system में भी आएगा, means network. Okay, so appreciate this on the screen. This is your principal vein. I haven't spoken about it because this is a very popular confusion and I'm going to clear it in today's class. This is the main vein which gives rise to veinlets. Okay? Remember the taproot system people who have been attending the classes? This is further going to branch itself. All eyes on the screen, please. What do? They entangle and form a network, a reticulum, if you will. And that is a feature of dicots. That's it. That's all you have to remember. I can't stop smiling because so much, you know, I had to teach in an entire class or half a class about venation when you used to have state PMTs. Yeah, when students used to prepare for various state PMTs, you should be thankful for having a single exam. Okay, people. Talking about the parallel venation, monocots tried to simplify a lot of things for themselves. And parallel venation is, of course, this is the principal vein. Appreciate on the screen, this is the main vein. Okay, and it has branches which are disciplined. They are parallel to each other. What can be more simple than this? So these are the two arrangement of veins and veinlets found in these, and parallel venation is a feature of monocots. Are you okay? Nimit, renal artery की class में पढ़ेंगे. Please focus on what is going on. Okay. Now, I want to clear a doubt for you. This is the leaf that we are talking about. Okay. Now, a common confusion is, what is midrib? Well, what happens is, please don't confuse it with petiole. This is the petiole, the stalk of the leaf. This is the lamina. In the lamina, the principal vein, the largest and the thickest vein, which looks like an extension of the petiole itself. When you draw a leaf or look at a leaf, is called the midrib. And all other are called as veinlets. There can be more than one midribs or principal veins in a leaf. More than one monitor in your class. It's like that. Now that concept of unicostate, multicostate, not in your syllabus. Okay? Now, let's talk about types of leaf. What are the different types of leaves? I'm not talking about the shapes only which I showed you, shapes of lamina. Well, there are only two categories. One is a simple leaf, where the lamina is a complete structure. No problem at all. There are no cuts. And if nature gets creative and decides to form cuts, then, it's like you fold a paper and you have the midline. But when you take your scissors, you don't go till the midline. So lamina has incisions, there are cuts, but they don't go till the midrib. So ultimately, this lamina is still complete, is still simple, because what is happening? Either no incisions. Now these are absolute basics, again asked in incorrect and correct type of questions, and usually it's a matter of one word which can send us for 4 marks or negative marking. Yeah, or incisions do not reach the midrib, and that is why I cleared what is a midrib. Cool. Now, interesting. I find compound leaf very interesting. Why do I find it interesting? Because more often than not, if the question is twisted in just asking what is a compound leaf, then many people go for negative marking. So these are rank booster concepts. Let's have a look on this. Compound leaf, you must have guessed it. Okay. Well, Raghu Banshi, that's how it is. That's how the morphology is. Monocots are simpler plants. Monocots are usually like grasses. So maybe, I'm assuming, that unki conduction is much simpler than the dicots. So they don't form a network. Okay? Avik, I'm coming to palmate and pinnate. Those are my favorites too. Same pinch. Gokul, incision matlab cuts. Ek paper lo, okay, and make cuts on it. Like I told you, fold the paper and make cuts without touching the midline, जहाँ पे fold है, और दूसरे paper में you make the cut till the midline. When you make the cut till the midrib, that is a compound leaf. Now, अब ध्यान से सुनना. Avik, write this down because it's your favorite concept and mine too. A midrib around which the cuts have been made is called as rachis. This is a recently asked question. I think last year it came. What is rachis? Rachis is a term given to the midrib only in case of compound leaf. Once again, ये आपका सिंपल लीफ था. इसमें हम प्रिंसिपल वेन को मिडरिब को घुमा दिया है. This is the midrib. Yeah? I just told you. Now in case of compound leaf, we don't have a simple leaf. We have very small leaflets. This midrib, this is midrib only. This is not anything else. But this has been given a name called rachis. And the leaflets are called as pinnae. They are called as pinnae. Are you good? Now, like Avik was talking, there are two ways in which compound leaves like to be compound. One is the feather-like shape. In feather-like shape of compound leaves, there is a rachis. There is a midrib which is long. And leaflets, if you have looked at I'm drawing it again so that you remember feather-like pattern. If you have looked at a neem leaf, yeah, you hold it, you feel like you're holding a feather. That is a pinnate compound leaf. There we go. I'll take this later. Yeah, it is called as pinnate compound leaf. Pin word ko yaad rakhna. Pin word has been used because it gives a very narrow appearance. Just the opposite is palmate compound leaf. Now, all eyes on the screen. दोबारा से मेरे हाथ को लीफ बना देते. Okay? ये क्या था? Petiole था. This was petiole and this was the lamina. Yeah? Now, consider the fingers as the leaflets. And this is the petiole. The leaflets appear at the tip of the petiole. Rachis is absent. Rachis is absent directly at the petiole. दोबारा से करते हैं. This is the stem. This is the petiole. Okay. अब usually क्या होता है? Petiole holds a leaf. Okay, fine. But now, no. Again, nature gets creative. And leaflets are diverging in all directions. Palm of the hand. See, this is one thing in botany. Bio has a lot of terms, ma'am. I can't learn them, ma'am. In botany, I love zoology as much, okay? But in botany, again, it's very, very scoring, and I want to say this again and again, because the terms are derived from what the structure is. Most of the times. So now you can easily remember, but a very advanced question would be, which people fail to notice, is that this is the petiole. There's no concept of rachis. Rachis is absent. And it is a short, it's not a narrow structure. This kind of leaf has a short stature because it is dividing right at the single point. They all arise from the single tip of the petiole. Avik, if zoology has difficult terms, you are at the right place to make them superbly easy. We promise you that. Exactly. Palmate is palm-like. Chale aage? Now, there was a concept that I had to discuss. Now, this is a very, very important question, not very highlighted in our NCERT, and hence it is often missed. Previous year question again, true and false statement. What do you see? In a simple leaf, this is your petiole. This is the stem. This is the axil. So there is an axillary bud. Okay? But if you look at the compound leaf, the petiole has extended and this is the midrib. This is the rachis. Let's be precise. This is the rachis around which pinnae are present. But axillary bud is present only in the axil of the leaf. Although the leaflets have their leaf base, have their independent lamina, have their independent petiole, but leaflets, right, it's somewhere very, very big. Leaflets do not have axillary bud. This is a commonly ignored concept. Please write this. So leaflets in compound leaf will have a proper leaf structure, but they will not have axillary bud. This is how you differentiate between a cluster of leaves present on the stem and a compound leaf. क्योंकि जब आप observe करोगे, आपको confusion हो सकती है. Yeah. So for example, if on the stem, yeah, this is the node and a cluster of leaf. Why am I making the leaf like this? A cluster of leaf is arising on a single node. Multiple leaves, yeah? You can't call it compound leaf. What will you check for? How will you differentiate? You will see that all these leaves will have their axillary bud. सबके axil में axillary bud होगी. Is that clear, people? But in compound leaf, the leaflets will not have axillary buds. Soham, you have a beautiful name. Soham Parkhi. It's one of my favorite names. Khush? आप ना भी बोलते तो I would have taken your name. अविक को super clear है, सबको super clear है. These are, trust me people, biology. In fact, your NEET syllabus is not about the quantity, how huge, the hugeness of the books that you have studied. It's about how precisely you understand the concepts, and that's what happens in BYJU'S. Yes, I will teach the entire botany. But one thing you people have to be very careful about is to be regular in classes. Because we want to make a long chain of thread. See, children, the syllabus has been divided into so many chapters, yeah? Don't think it like a syllabus. Think like a knowledge. How you learn dance, how you learn to paint, how you learn to sing. You can't miss any steps. You go from basics to advanced. If you want to understand plant physiology or human physiology, you have to start from the very basic. You have to understand what is an animal cell, what is a plant cell. So do not miss any classes. You should subscribe to the channel. You should keep a tab on when the next class is going to be, when the teacher is coming. You should prepare notes. You should have dedicated notebooks for this. Because if you could just read textbooks and get selected, then NEET won't be NEET. It's one of the prestigious exams of this country for a reason. It requires consistency. It requires to be regular in the class. It doesn't ask for your choice and mood. I don't want to go to the class, or I want to go to the class. It requires discipline. Because you're aiming to be a doctor who are very, very disciplined, who have to be. Yeah? Chalo, आगे चलते हैं. We have discussed everything. Yeah. Coming to the examples. अब आपके syllabus में examples are very, very less. I'm just comparing it from when I studied. So simple leaf, compound leaf ka example, you will write in pinnate, you will write neem and cotton, and in palmate, you will write silk cotton. Or don't write cotton here, write just neem and rose, and here you write silk cotton or bombax. Avik, there are nothing is difficult. Plant kingdom is the easiest, will make it easiest for you. Okay? Examples yaad rakh lena. And now I can move on to Phyllotaxy. अब देखो phyllo word का मतलब होता है, और phyllo या Phyllotaxy. Phyllo word का मतलब होता है leaf. Did you study this term phyllo in the previous class? Can somebody tell me? ये phyllo word पहले भी आया है, सुना है. In the last class, When did we use the term phyllo? कोई बता सकता है? Not yes. What was the word? Tell me the term. Yes or no question नहीं आएगा. Thank you, Ajaya. Beautiful name again. It's Phyllotaxy. And Phyllotaxy was doing the function of the leaf. Am I right? So here also, whenever you come across the term phyllo, मतलब कुछ गड़बड़, कुछ प्रॉब्लम है लीफ की, क्वेश्चन है लीफ का, कॉन्सेप्ट है लीफ का. और टैक्सॉन का मतलब होता है अरेंजमेंट. टेक्सोनमी पढ़ते हो फर्स्ट चैप्टर में, या टेक्सॉन इज अरेंजमेंट. So it is nothing but the arrangement of leaves on the stem or its branches. On stem or its branches. Thank God. पता लगा branches के लिए कोई नया concept निकाल देते तो हमें ज़्यादा पढ़ना पड़ता. अब I'm going to scribble something because that's how I remember things. I am going to scribble something on the screen. That's it. Done. We are done. So हम बच्चे, it is the arrangement of leaves. इतनी भी easy नहीं है life. It's not the study of leaf only. Arrangement of leaves. Cool. So alternate phyllotaxy, opposite phyllotaxy, world phyllotaxy. अब इसमें से इस scribbling को decode करते हैं. What is alternate phyllotaxy? It is also called as spiral phyllotaxy. Are we together on this? I made an S. Spiral phyllotaxy. Why the S? Have a careful look before we go on to read the theory. This is the node, this is the node. I'm going to take two nodes. Color change कर लेते हैं. Now, only one leaf arises from each node. यानी कि इस node पे one vacancy here in this direction will be vacant. Okay, and the next leaf on the next node will arise in the opposite direction. Have a careful look, and when you join them together, they have to form an S. There you go. Question क्या पूछते हैं? How many leaves arise in alternate phyllotaxy on a single node? One leaf. Can you keep that in your mind? Rakesh, बेटा कौन से टीचर्स कितने बजे आते हैं? I usually come here at 7 o'clock on Aakash BYJU'S NEET channel. It's better that you subscribe to the channel so that सारे टीचर्स आपको कब पढ़ाने आते हैं, you will get the notification. Pramod, thank you. One node, one leaf. अब एग्जाम्पल से हम हमेशा तो नहीं बच सकते. I'm trying my best to save you from examples. So, again, hibiscus is a very, very common flower. If you go out to take a walk, किसी के घर में भी होगा, hibiscus flower, it's a perfect flower. You will see that leaves arise in an alternate pattern. Mustard, Solanaceae family. Aloo wali family. You will see. When you connect all this knowledge to angiosperm families, you'll be delighted. For that, you have to be regular to the classes. And the most advanced family of angiosperms, which is the Solanaceae family, sunflower की family. जहाँ पे भी पढ़ते हो, BYJU'S has doors open for anybody who has only one pointed focus to get selected. We don't do anything else here. It's a selfless platform to get you there. As simple as that. So everybody in the entire world, you're more than welcome to be a part of this channel. You should be. I can't say this. You have to experience it yourself. You're more than welcome. Yes, Paki, you're right. So China rose, mustard, sunflower. Okay. Opposite phyllotaxy. What did I scribble? Yeah? इतना भी rough scribble नहीं था. Opposite phyllotaxy is now on one node, two leaves will arise but in opposite directions. बात नहीं करते एक दूसरे से. Opposite directions. Simple. Two leaves on one node. Example is guava, calotropis. You don't need to do the types of opposite phyllotaxy. It's not anymore in your syllabus. कोई question नहीं आया है recently, previous year में. Okay? So, just experience the perfection in content when you are on this channel and forget the rest of the world, people. On the day of the result, nobody is going to ask you कि किस platform, कहाँ क्या हुआ, ये हुआ वो. There's no time for stories. It's the matter of your life. ये आपके future का सवाल है. So if you experience perfect content from all the teachers and all the subjects on this channel, then this is your right place. There's nothing to think about it. Yeah. So calotropis is also guava and calotropis. दो examples याद रखेंगे. उसके बाद आ जाते हैं world phyllotaxy. Botany में जब भी world word आएगा, it means a cluster. और कैसा cluster? It's a round cluster. So on one node, you will find a cluster. So it will be 3 or more than 3 leaves on one node. Can we do that? 3 or more. जैसे आप bouquet का arrangement देखते हो, it's a circular arrangement. Also called as verticillate arrangement, but it's okay. Just remember world arrangement. This will be helpful in fluorescence as well. Flowers can also arrange like this. And there's only one example, very good for you. जब मैंने prepare किया था तब भी एक ही example था, Alstonia. You see, on one node, from a single node, color change कर लेते हैं. There are many leaves coming out. Happy? Easy? अब आ जाते हैं भाई, modification तो होनी ही है. Vegetative organs को modify होना ही पड़ेगा. Why do they modify? I think I asked this in every class. For adaptation, for making it easy for the plant to live in this ever-changing world. Because environment is in a dynamic state. Huh? So it is going to change. Temperature is going to change. Soil conditions are going to change. Rainfall is going to change. So in order to adapt, and it's not, agar leaf modification hai to stem nahi hogi. All three, but it's done by vegetative parts mostly. Okay? So leaf modifications की बात करते हैं. Cactus. I said this in the last class. Cactus is going to come again and again. 12th में भी आएगा, 11th में भी आएगा, पूरी botany में आएगा, because ये बेचारा बहुत ही मुश्किल conditions में रह रहा है. Cactus is living in xerophytic or dry conditions. So जाहिर सी बात है, it has a lot of adaptations for that. Now, we studied stem modification, Phyllotaxy in cactus. And I said that stem has to perform the function of photosynthesis in Opuntia or cactus because leaves are modified into pointed sharp structures. Pointed sharp structures called thorns or spines. क्या लिखना है? ऊपर दिया ही हुआ है spines. Don't get confused. Thorns are modification of stem, spines are modification of leaves. That's the difference. In stem, they were reducing transpiration and they were protecting the plants from herbivory, from grazing by animals. Yahan cactus mein both the functions are there. Major function is to ease out the evil transpiration. इस बेचारे के पास पानी वैसे ही कम है. Okay? Thorns नहीं बेटा, thorns. Thorns in bougainvillea. Next. These are like a matter of wonder. इस पे, on Discovery Channel, on various, it's quite an animated concept. Because plants are very popular for being autotrophic. They are like the saints. They are very, हम सब के लिए खाना बनाते हैं, खुद के लिए भी खाना बनाते हैं. They go through all the atrocities. But these plants are smart enough to evolve into being carnivores. The insectivorous plants, ये भी this concept also will come again in class 12th. Insectivorous plants decided to do this. Pura plant insective, sare leaves, of course, it's a modification of leaf, which is changing into this insect catching structures, but not all the leaves do that. Leaves will do photosynthesis. This is a common misunderstanding that these leaves do not perform photosynthesis. They are lazy and that's why they are eating insects. Nope. Because when they eat these insects, they get only nitrogen and some amount of phosphorus. Because nitrogen is one mineral that even us, we cannot fix it. It is not present in the soil. It has to be fixed from the atmosphere. So plant find various ways. जैसे आपने roots में what did you study? Rhizobium, taproot, nodulated, rings a bell, anything, anybody. Does it ring a bell? It should, it should. Now, इन plants ने, because they are living in soil, जो थोड़ी बहुत nitrogen soil में होती भी है, these plants even don't get that. They live in nitrogen deficient soils, boggy soils or acidic soils. And then the leaf or the lamina per se changes into a pitcher-like structure, जैसे एक jug होता है, जैसे एक pitcher होता है. And do you see this lid? This is actually the leaf apex. Ab insect gets attracted to the leaf because they have nectariferous glands. Insect को लगता है I'll get nectar. आज तो party है. But when it goes, the lamina, the pitcher is formed in a way that the inside wall is slippery in nature. Insect फंस जाता है and then the leaf apex is modified in the form of a lid. Locks the insect and digests the insect. There are digestive juices which are present inside the pitcher. So smart, right? Do you all agree? Nature is so smart. And we are just discovering things out of what is already present. Okay? आशीष बच्चे रिफ्रेश कर लो. सब चीज़ों की दवाई है, रिफ्रेश कर लो. It'll be fine. No problem from our side. Yeah. So Nepenthes is the pitcher, very very famous pitcher plant. अब कोई chat में लिख रहा था Venus flytrap. Venus flytrap में भी lamina gets modified. This plant, if you look at the lamina, has teeth. The edges of the modified structure, of the trapping structure, has teeth and hair which trap the insects. Look at it. It'll trap the insect right in front of you. It's also called Dionia. 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 Yeah. Is that a Venus flytrap? Yash, Vardhan, Rajput, wait for it. Okay, now, children, modifications are usually a picked question by the examiners. Now, this you have already studied. How many of you have studied this in the last class? Stem modification, underground modification of stem. I told you the major feature of underground stem is presence of papery thin scaly leaves. If we talk about onion and garlic, which are bulbs, modification of stems, then scaly leaves become fleshy in nature. Fleshy ka matlab, they store food. And that is what we consume. So these are leaves modified into something which is not performing photosynthesis. This is the secondary function. Through modifications, you get to know what the parts are capable of other than their primary function. Are you good with this? Let's move further. This is my favorite. Why is it my favorite? Nahi, Ashish. Good question, yeah. Ashish, these plants are so smart. They have these, like I was talking about Venus flytrap, right? The hair can actually sense whether it's a living object or a non-living object. The hair have to be stimulated at regular time intervals, and only the insect can do it. Stone to inanimate hai. It will not stimulate the hair. So it's a whole mechanism which you don't have to really go into. Megras, बच्चे, I told you ना, why there was a requirement for such an evolution. क्यों इनको autotrophic के साथ साथ insect को खाना पड़ा. In fact, that is an important question. Were you in the class? हाँ. So बच्चों, this is a favorite question. लिख लो इसको. When the leaf, and that can be any part of the leaf, gets modified into a Maggie-like structure. ये please exam में मत लिख देना. You'll get 0 marks and a lot of scolding. That's my way of telling you so that you remember. It becomes into, okay, it modifies. What will you write in the exam? It modifies into a coiled, tubular structure that, you know, helps the plant in climbing and support. What you can see right now is only the leaflets which get modified. Yeah? तो यहाँ पे compound leaf था, नीचे वाले leaves modify नहीं हुए, कुछ नहीं हुए, but some of them decided to get modified into highly coiled tubular structures called tendrils. There are stem tendrils too. Don't get confused. It is very easy to get confused. That is not your fault. It is your fault in the sense that you don't revise enough. Stem tendril is Cucurbitaceae family. I used to get confused. So just warning you. Leaf tendrils are a feature of pea plant. Now, there is edible pea, which is Pisum sativum. तो अगर क्वेश्चन में Pisum sativum पूछा है, आप मार्क करोगे leaflet tendril. Okay? And that is the case in sweet pea too. It's not edible pea. Poisonous होता है. But the odor is sweet. Lathyrus, odoratus. But there are examples where entire leaf can get modified. Okay, for example, Lathyrus or Lathyrus, however you want to pronounce it, Aphaca. What is this, ma'am? This is the wild pea, not edible. Okay, अगर याद नहीं रहता है, it is okay. They usually ask from Pisum sativum. Are you good? Can you remember Pisum sativum? Pramod, आपको explain करना है? Let me explain, or should I explain? What do you need, my dear? What do you want to be explained? Soham, बच्चे, what do you think? Think. Let this work. क्या ज़रूरत है tendril की? What do you think? Were you there in the stem tendril class? आपके क्वेश्चन का आंसर लास्ट क्लास में है. Thank you, Videhi. Thank you, Meghraj, tendrils for support. चलो आगे चलते हैं. Now, this is a very, very, very important question. Phylode. A while back, I told you whenever the word phyllo comes, what does it represent? The word phyllo or phyllo, whatever, is the leaf. So what is happening? In phylode, the leaf or the lamina, once again, those of you who have forgotten what is lamina, the lamina is reduced or it is short-lived. जल्दी से मर जाता है. Do you see these portions? These are lamina. Now you might wonder, ma'am, if lamina is reduced and short-lived, who will perform the photosynthesis? The answer is petiole becomes expanded, flattened and green. Yani ki it becomes photosynthetic. It is extremely easy to get confused between phylode and phyloclade and cladode. It's better that you clear that confusion. Phylloklade is the modification of stem, so is cladode, and phylode is also a modification. Phylode is a modification of leaf, but function same है. The modifications are happening in xerophytic plants. अगर ये xerophytic plant में हो रही है, phylloklade में example आपने cactus पढ़ा है, यहाँ पे phylode का example is Australian acacia. Australian acacia, this is a previous year important question. And also Parkinsonia. क्या बोला मैंने? Parkinsonia. These two examples we can do. Okay. Is that clear? Now, other modifications, somebody was asking about bladderwort. Somebody was asking about bladderwort. What is a bladderwort? Bladderwort is another insectivorous plant called Uticularia. But this is an aquatic plant. यहाँ पे lamina gets modified just like Nepenthes and Venus flytrap. Lamina gets modified into an air-filled bladder. Why? Because it is an aquatic plant. So this bladder is performing the dual function of providing buoyancy and trapping the insects. So if you want to add an example in the insectivorous plants, this is Ashish, bacha, learn to listen. I've spent enough time on phylode. Huh? It's performing photosynthesis. The petiole is performing photosynthesis. Is that clear, children? Then there are other modifications, like if they ask you fleshy, not fleshy leaves, a better term is succulent leaves. You know, these leaves are swollen leaves which store mucilage. Then aloe vera is an example. Aloe vera में आपको spines भी दिख सकते हैं. Aloe vera सबके घर पे होता है. Yeah? You will see some spines, and if you cut the leaf, the mucilage slimy structure oozes out. So those are called succulent leaves. Then there are hook leaves, which is okay. It's not in your syllabus. Okay. Chalo. This ends the leaf modifications. We will apply today's knowledge, whatever you have studied, in a question, which is a wonderful question. Which is a question all of you are asking. It's a previous year question. So जो आपको confusion है, वहीं से ही question आपके सामने है. Which of the following is not a leaf modification? Which of the following is a leaf modification? नहीं, not a leaf modification. मैं यहीं से हूँ, exactly यहीं से हूँ. अंकुर, please question solve करो. It's okay, Ashish. Is it D? Those of you are answering D. Phylode is not a leaf modification. Did you read the question carefully? Picture of Nepenthes Lakshay is not a leaf modification. Are crazy spines in cactus are not a leaf modification? सारे लिख दो A, B, C, D. Exam तो मेरा, I'll choose it. It is Phylloklade. Okay, so this is usually a matter of confusion. We just studied in today's class that picture in insectivorous plants. याद रख लेना, insectivorous plants में mostly जो भी modification आपके syllabus में है, that is leaf modification. You don't have to worry at all. Can you do that? If you can't remember Nepenthes only. Spines in cactus, spines are a leaf modification. Phylode is a very, very much leaf modification. Petiole part, mesopodium, is getting modified. But Phylloklade is a stem modification. So our answer is Phylloklade. Ashwani, मैं आकाश बायजूस में पढ़ाती हूँ बच्चे. Good question. You guys ask interesting questions sometimes. Cool. So if you subscribe to Aakash BYJU'S channel, I'll come to take the class. With this, children, thank you for attending the class. Do like the session, subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any classes. Share the session with your friends who could not make it to the class, who did not attend the class. Spread the awareness that this is it. You need the right content and precise content to ace the exam. It's nothing else. It's a matter of how precisely you have studied your content. Yeah? Not the quantity, but the quality of the content. Okay, share the session, like the session, and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next class. Thank you and a very good evening.